Hey everyone, Daniel here with HRT Tactical Gear, and I want to show you the new HRT ARC Series Med Pouch. So we have a couple of versions tossed up here. One of them is mounted to a belt. We have a freestanding one that I'll use for some demo here. But you're already familiar with our ARC belt, some of our ARC pouches, things like that. And we wanted to have a complete line where you can get all the accessories you might need for your belt. And so naturally the medical pouch was the next thing on that list. So we've worked with a couple different trauma medics or medics with the military or some SWAT medics as well, and really kind of ironed out what things they needed to have, what things they didn't need to have, and maybe some specifics here or there that they preferred, and we've come out with this design here. So again, as you see, this is mounted here on this belt, and I'll open it up here in a little bit and show you. This is attached through any type of MOLLE system, but you can also use, run it through your belt in some type of 2-inch space system. So as you can see here, this is attached using our little RMS strips, the Tegris ones we have on the website. It'll come with those mounting clips, and it will also ship with this tourniquet sleeve here. This can be attached to the actual unit itself, or you can attach it anywhere else on your belt here where you have that MOLLE. It's just a way to make sure that you've got your iFAK, and including in your iFAK, you'll have the ability to include a tourniquet as well. So we want to make sure that that is attached, and it'll hold on to it nicely there. Top, you can see that we have these two handles, one on each side. This allows you to pull this from either side. So we didn't want to design something that you can only access or get into from one angle. So this allows your left hand or your right hand to yank this out. You're not limited to just using one setup, or maybe like the guys who, like, I used to have to mount my iFAK in the same spot every time, everybody had the same place. Well, if you're pinned in some way or you can't use that arm, you can't reach it very well from the other side. Sure, I can get it, but we're talking a round arm or around mags and things like that. I can't really get to that pouch and start rooting around in it. So this is intentionally designed where you can pull it from either side. Now, since that one's entirely set up, I didn't want to really tear that apart, but we kind of discussed about that pull away feature. So if I give this a nice yank here, this will pop out of the sleeve. That's a little bit easier when it's on a belt. You do have some hook here on the back that does attach to loop that's on the inside. So this can be placed wherever you might want it to be. You can then pull this closed and make it as tight as you want. So if I want it to be really tight, I can pull it nice and tight there. It's harder to get out. Or if I want to make it, for whatever reason, want to make it a little bit looser, I can do that as well. So it's up to you, the user, how you want to have this set up. So we talked about mounting. You do have your loop here for any type of unit patches. If you're working in an environment where you might need some type of your blood information, you can put that on here. There's a couple good videos out there about whether that's really necessary or not. Depends on your environment. I do think that's a valid point to make. If you're just going out to the range to shoot with your buddies, putting your blood type's not really important, because the people who respond if you get hurt are not going to care what you put on your equipment. They're going to go do a test. But if you're working in a team where that's important, you've got the space for it. You can also label this as medical. When we talk about mounting, everything in the ARC series has been 1/2-inch space. This allows us to mount it to any type of modern belt with that 1/2-inch spaced MOLLE, or if you are putting it onto a carrier or some type of true 1-inch MOLLE, you still have the ability to do that. You're not limited to one option. We also put these little pass-throughs here. So if you want to mount this onto your belt directly instead of mollying it, you can just shove your belt through this section, either the outside of this laser cutting or the inside of laser cutting. You can do it however you prefer. And you can mount your belt through there as well. So then you don't have any type of weaving to do here. It's just slide your belt through and you're done. So that's our information for the cover here. Now we get into the actual iFAK kit itself. So this is where those little hard pieces are attached. So you can pull this from either side out of your kit. And then we put something that was a little bit more easier to grab hold of than, say, just this bare material here. When you're talking about a situation where there may be blood or other fluids and such mixed in with all this gear, the ability to have something to tangibly hold on to and not just a piece of fabric is very important. So that's why we put this here. We also put in the edges so you don't have any type of weird straps you're trying to grab a hold of. This gives me a little more leverage to pop this open. So as you see here, we have a sleeve that's here on this left side. This can be, which can be rotated either way, depending on how you set it up. So this could be maybe the chest seals, we move them over, we can put this bandage in there. Essentially whatever you want to put in there, that's an option. You'll see here that I have some shock cord and I also have one wrap. This comes to you with 2 sets of this one wrap. that attaches to the Tegris board that's here on the back. You can change it to however you need. So if you want to do shot cord, if that's your preference, you can do that. If you want to use the existing and included one wrap, you can also use that. So in this one, we've kind of emptied out one of the HRT iFAKs and added some other items. So we have our combat gauze, the gloves, our bandage, our chest seal, and our nasopharyngeal airway with the lube, very important. And now we can really get into this Tegris backer that we've discussed. So this is the core of the ARC Med Pouch. This allows you to run this one wrap into any of these slots. As you can see, this is open the whole way through. So I can loop over whatever I might want to loop through here. I can shot cord things in as I want to. And then as an added feature, depending on your own personal preferences, you could even tie maybe the shot cord through one of these bottom loops and then attach it to your belt. So when you pull this unit out, the entire unit is still retained to your person. And because of this board structure, everything can be retained on here. That way, if you need to move in the middle of conducting some type of aid, your med pouch comes with you, as opposed to being left over wherever you might have jumped up from. So this board allows you a lot of flexibility. If you choose not to use this in a medical capacity, you might want to use it for navigation or other types of equipment. You can use that as well. Just change up how you use here. This Tegris board will allow you to attach quite literally whatever you want as long as it fits in the assembly here. Now we're just going to kind of hastily put this back together, but if you were wanting to run this on your own kit, you're going to set up the way that you want it to, and maybe buy a unit procedure as well of where things have to be and such. And you can see we get a lot of flexibility out of this. So now we see this all packed up here, and we have our outside case here. Now we put the contents of an iFAK in here, so an individual first aid kit. Theoretically, you could really pack this out with a bunch of other things. It does have the capacity. You could potentially get away with putting that much stuff in it and then pack it into here. However, at what point is too much for an individual kit too much? If we're talking about for just me, this is really sufficient for me, less than this tourniquet. But if we're talking about a team environment where you're working with multiple people, maybe you need a dedicated medical pouch for you to take care of other people out of. And this is going to be really targeted for just you and the components you need for yourself. So we don't want, while we can pack this with more equipment, we don't necessarily want to just fill it up with as much stuff as we can jam in there. The idea of this is to kind of keep it slim so it can hang it on our belt without taking up both too much real estate and too much space. If this is overpacked and I'm trying to sit into maybe a cruiser or some type of armored vehicle, Bearcats and things like that, that might be too much to be putting on my back where I'm pushing my back out on the inside of my seat. So just make sure the amount of equipment you put in here is reasonable. We don't want to try and overfill something just because we simply have the space for it. Now we can close this all up, and then you can prep this for mounting onto your belt. Another feature, if you want, you can take these little tails here, and you could tuck them in a little bit just so you have a little bit cleaner of a package. This will allow you to still reach them. I can still put my finger in here and hook that out, but they're not going to be flopping around or dangling. If that's something that you just personally don't like seeing that, you can always do that to the kit. So this is our ARC series, individual first aid kit and a little med pouch. We have these available on our website now. You can pick them up in multicam, coyote, ranger green, black, multicam black, all those colors will be out. And you also, they'll be paired with one of these sleeves that will match the same color. So you'll have a nice little full ready to go combo kit, and then you can pick up some of the medical accessories off of our website as well. We do have a full line of either pre-packed kits or individual components depending on what you particularly might want to have in your kit. So check that out at HRTtacticalgear.com. Reach out to us if you have any questions about mounting or components or things like that that you might need answered. We'd be happy to help with that. Thanks for watching this video. We appreciate it.